Hello, Facebook and YouTube. Hello, Instagram. Oop, sorry, Instagram. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. We are here again on a marvelous. That was Marvelous Monday. We're here after a Marvelous Monday. I messed up my words, friends. But we are here on a wonderful Wednesday. It is. We made it through the hurricane, the tropical storm, whatever that was. Friends, wasn't that scary? It was a little scary. Miss Hope was a little scared, okay? I was watching the news and the weather and the radar and everything, trying to make sure that there was no tornado touching down. It was scary. I have not seen the trees in my neighborhood waving that much ever. Okay. So, my friends, I am so glad that we made it through the hurricane. I want to try to say the name. Isaias. Okay. Some people said it like that. Some people said Isaias. Some people said it that way. So whichever one is correct, you, my friend, was pretty strong. Okay. So hopefully you are all okay, that you have power in your house and everything is fine where you are. I'm so happy for you all to be here. So let me inform you of this. So my young friends, my older friends, my adult and teacher friends who are on Miss Hope's Reading Hour on Facebook and YouTube. If you make a comment, you're going to have to let me know who you are. And I thought that there was something on Facebook that should pop up to say that you're able to say who it is that's saying hi to me, because I see you saying hi. Hello. I'm so happy to see you guys. So, if possible, could you let me know who it is that's saying hi? Because the only thing I see is says Facebook user. But if you don't want to do that, guess what? After Miss Hope's Reading Hour is over, I always go back on Facebook, right? And I and I make sure to see who it is that's on. And I'm so excited when I see all the people who are watching Miss Hope's Reading Hour. So happy. So, how did you make it through the hurricane? Were you just sitting in the house with the lights out? Were your eyes glued to the TV? Were you playing your games or reading a book, maybe? Hint, hint. Or just taking a nap and sleeping through the rain? What were you all doing? Okay. Oh, hello. I'm so glad to see one of my students and his mom is on. Hello, Miss Kate. I'm so glad that you're on as well. So, yeah, but I could not sleep through all that wind and rain. I was just a little like, yeah, because it was just so windy and the rain was so hard. But guess what it is on this wonderful Wednesday? It is a beautiful sunny day. After the storm, out came the sun, dried up all the rain. Oh, see, y'all got me about to sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider. No, that's not what we're doing here. We're reading. We're not singing. Okay, so I want to talk to you all about something before we go on to the books, because I got a shipment of books yesterday. And two of the books we're reading today are brand spanking new books. I am excited. Okay. So, I want to talk to you about the post that I put up about having guest readers. I wanted to make sure it was clear. I'm going to put up another post probably today or tomorrow. So, in order for you to be a guest reader right now, I would like to have either children or children and their parents being guest readers together on our Friday broadcasts. Okay. So, of course, you need to have a book or two. Now, if you have one book, hey, you read one book, Miss Hope reads one book and the chapter book. If you have two books, you and your parent or you read two books, and Miss Hope will only read the chapter book selection. Okay. Because remember, this is all about you guys, all about you. So the books that I really do want to have is the first two books are picture books. So if you have some picture books laying around your house, let me know what those books are and that you or you and your parent are interested in being a guest reader on the Miss Hope's Reading Hour Friday broadcast. Okay. Now, for this Friday, we already have someone, and her son are awesome. Okay. Not going to tell you who it is yet. I'll post it tomorrow. But they will be reading some books for all of us to enjoy. Okay. And I can't wait for you all to meet them. Okay. Now, I told you I got a shipment of books yesterday. This shipment of books that I got, just to let you all know, and all of my parent friends and parent teacher friends and friends all over, the shipment of books that I got yesterday was the absolute end of my monetary donations. So the donation amount has gone down to zero. Okay. Now, do know if I need books, Miss Hope will be the donator, but Miss Hope needs help too. Okay. So if you would like to donate, you can donate in a couple of ways. Okay. Actually, in three ways. So you can donate via Cash App. Okay. My Cash App handle is HopeGM, HOPEGM, all one word, all lowercase. And you can donate any amount to Miss Hope's Reading Hour library, and it will go to getting more books. Okay. The other way that you can donate is by sending an online gift card to either Amazon or Barnes and Noble or First Book. I'm still not sure if they do those, but if they do, First Book, or any book retailer that you would like to choose, or even a Visa gift card, an online one. And you can donate that way so that I can use the gift card to get more books from Miss Hope's Reading Hour library. And you can email those gift cards to Miss Hope's, MSHOPES RH, Miss Hope's RH. The RH, of course, stands for Reading Hour. Miss Hope's RH at gmail.com. That's Miss Hope's RH at gmail.com. So you can send those gift cards there. The third way to donate is if you just want to send me books yourself in the mail. If you want to send them in the mail, then you would send me a message and I would give you the address and you can send the books here. I had one of my friends send me books. It was awesome. Okay. Now, my friends, let us get to these new books that I just bought. Okay. Now, before I show you these books, I don't know if any of you are aware of a very great man who fought for equality here in this country. Okay. His name was John Lewis, and he was in Congress, and he was a very great man, a very loving man. And he marched with Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he did. Okay. So, the books that I read today, because I usually read through some of the books when I get a new shipment. And the books that I read today reminded me so much of him that I wanted to dedicate today's Miss Hope's Reading Hour to John Lewis. Okay? If you don't know who he is, ask your parents to look him up. He is a very great man and somebody who you would want to be like. Okay? So, the things that he talked about in helping people to realize that everyone is important made me think of him when I read these two books. So that's why I wanted to dedicate today's Miss Hope's Reading Hour to the memory of Mr. John Lewis. Now, the first book, which was the teaser book that I showed you, is called Whoever You Are. Whoever You Are. This book is by Mem Fox and illustrated by Leslie Staub. It's called Whoever You Are. Wait till we read this book. Very nice book. And this book here is so powerful that I was like, oh my goodness, this was really, because I read this one first. This one was really, really the one that made me think of him. And it's called Maybe. A story about the endless potential in all of us. Maybe. So we'll be reading this one today too. And we will be reading, I did read a little more of this. Belly Up by Stuart Gibb, about poor Mr. Henry and him going belly up. We're going to get more into his thing, okay? All right, so to our first book, Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. Let us have some ambiance while we read, shall we? Of course we shall. Whoever you are. There we go. Little one, whoever you are, and these pictures are awesome too. Wherever you are, there are little ones just like you all over the world. Their skin may be different from yours, and their homes may be different from yours. Their schools may be different from yours. Aren't those pictures beautiful? And their lands may be different from yours. Their lives may be different from yours, and their words may be very different from yours. But inside, their hearts are just like yours. Whoever they are, wherever they are, all over the world. Their smiles are like yours, and they laugh just like you. Their hurts are like yours, and they cry like you too. Whoever they are, wherever they are, all over the world. Little one, when you are older and when you are grown, you may be different. And they may be different wherever you are, wherever they are in this big, wide world. But remember this: joys are the same, and love is the same. Pain is the same, and blood is the same. Smiles are the same, and hearts are just the same. Wherever they are, wherever you are, wherever we are. All over the world. The end. Wow, wasn't that a great story? That was amazing. Such a simple story with a very simple message. We're all the same. We all hurt the same. If we get a cut on our knee, we all bleed the same. Our smiles all look the same. We cry all the same. All over the world. We all go to school. Our houses may be different where we live, but inside, we are all the same. I really like this book. This book is really special. So, my parent friends, my parent teacher friends, my teacher friends, this is a book that you may want to buy for your children or your students. Miss Kate, ooh, this would be a good one for drama club, okay? Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. Very good book. All right, now to our next book called Maybe, a story about the endless potential in us all. Now, this has a cover. Oh, and it's such a pretty cover. We're definitely not getting rid of this cover. We're just taking it off for reading purposes. And look how pretty that is in the corner. Maybe. This book is written by Kobi Yamada and illustrated by Gabriella Baruch. Maybe. Have you ever wondered why you are here? You are the only you there ever has been or ever will be. You have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen. Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try. See as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget, it is on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you will lift cheering crowds onto their feet. Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you. Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long. Maybe you will speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can. There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times, it will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You may fall down. You may fail. But you will also get back up, and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller, because there really is more inside you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your talents, your big ideas. And maybe you're just getting started. What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet? There is something powerful, even magical, about you. You already have everything it takes to do big things. Maybe you have no idea just how good you really can be. And maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting for centuries for someone exactly like you. One thing is for sure, you are here. And because you are here, anything is possible. Let me say that one more time. Anything is possible. The end. Oh, wasn't that a beautiful book? Beautiful book. Maybe a story about the endless potential in us all. Who knows what you're going to do, how great you're going to be. And it's not always going to work out the way you think. Sometimes you might fall, sometimes you might fail, sometimes you might make a mistake. But there is something in this world meant for you to do, and only you can do it. And because you are here, anything is possible. Oh, love that book. Oh, I want to read it again. That's how much I love that book. I want to read it again. That's how you know a book is really good. When you can read it over and over again, you know that's a good book. Okay? So, let us now, get to, let us get to Belly Up. Belly Up by Stuart Gibb. Friends. So we've already come to find out some about how Fun Jungle came to be. And Mr. J.J. McCracken, and how he built this whole Fun Jungle thing because his daughter wasn't able to go on safari when she was 7 years old. So he was already a rich man. He decided, hey, I might as well just build one for my baby girl. But he stole some ideas from some other theme parks. And, sometimes people who are creative people, they say creative people are the best thieves. So they take a little idea and put their little sauce on it, All right, so that is where we are. We have met Martin, who does not like children or animals, though he works at the Fun Jungle. We have met, what is the doctor's name? What's the doctor's name? The doctor who does not like to give the animals any tranquilizer because he doesn't want to hurt the animals. But he does not like people, but he likes animals. But he likes Teddy's mom because, she works with animals. So that's probably the reason why he likes her. So let's find out more about Mr. J.J. McCracken and how Fun Jungle came to be. And as I was reading, a little more about Henry the Hippo, the one we have to find out why he came belly up in the Fun Jungle. Okay? All right, let us continue. To be really profitable, JJ knew Fun Jungle had to keep making money long after people had visited it. To do this, he stole an idea from Disney. The park shouldn't just have animals. It should have characters. To most people, one hippo was exactly like any other. But if you created a personality, a la Henry the Hippo, people wouldn't simply want to see him. They'd buy anything with his picture on it. Now, even if you didn't know Henry was a jerk, it still might have seemed like a bad idea to make a hippopotamus the cornerstone of a merchandising empire. After all, as mammals went, hippos were fat, dangerous, and not particularly attractive. But merchandising wasn't about selling reality. As JJ often pointed out incorrectly, Mickey Mouse is just a rat in suspenders. The real reason for selecting Henry as the mascot had far more to do with television than biology. JJ knew all along that it would take years to build Fun Jungle, so he decided to create excitement about its inhabitants well ahead of time. He already owned a cable TV network, so he ordered the employees to develop an animated series called Fun Jungle Friends. Here, he was stealing another idea from Disney, which had used the wonderful world of Disney to blatantly market Disneyland well before it opened. It was a good idea to steal, though. Not only could JJ plug his own theme park, but he got advertisers to pay him to do it. Fun Jungle Friends was originally about a bunch of zoo animals who'd slip out of their cages after the keepers went home to have all sorts of wacky adventures. Eleanor Elephant, Zelda Zebra, Larry the Lizard, and Uncle Orang were the stars. Henry Hippo was supposed to be only a minor character at first. He didn't even appear until the fourth episode, but for some reason, people loved him. Even the animators couldn't quite figure out why. Maybe children found Henry not non threatening. Maybe he was just a particularly attractive shade of purple. Whatever the case, he was a hit. Henry Hippo merchandise began outselling that of all the other characters by a huge margin. And his cry of excitement, Jinkies McPinkies, quickly became a national catchphrase. JJ was thrilled. Fun Jungle Friends quickly became the Henry Hippo Show. A series of Henry Hippo movies was greenlit, and Henry was named the Fun Jungle spokesperson, or rather, spokesanimal. The park was reconfigured to place Hippo River right by the front gates. The marketing department began slapping Henry's face on every piece of merchandise you could think of. On his show, Henry started imploring kids to visit him at Fun Jungle years before the park even opened. The effect was immediate. Children across the country clamored for Fun Jungle vacations. Families came to Texas just to see the construction site. Henry was a phenomenon, and he made Fun Jungle a phenomenon along with him. Throughout it all, however, no one ever stopped to consider what a real hippopotamus was like. Of course, anyone who knew a whit about hippos would have, but no animal specialists were hired at Fun Jungle until long after the decision to revere Henry had been made. The hardest thing about starting a zoo from scratch isn't building it, it's getting the animals. You can't walk into your closest pet store and ask for a couple of hippos. 100 years ago, when zoos were a new concept, they all used to simply capture animals in the wild. And when those animals died, they'd go back and get more. Today, most zoo animals are endangered, so regulations have been established to prevent them from their natural to prevent taking them from their natural habitats. Instead, most animals are procured from other zoos or official breeding facilities. These places aren't like puppy farms, though, churning out new animals as fast as they can. Hippos only gave birth to one or two young a year tops. Hippo River had enclosures for 4 hippos, but it wasn't until construction was almost completed that anyone discovered procuring even one hippo might be difficult. Naturally, J.J. McCracken wasn't pleased to hear this. I heard he threw a chair through a plate glass window. Then he demanded his people better get him at least one hippopotamus and do it fast. Fun Jungle couldn't open without a Henry. So the purchasing department scrambled to find a hippo, any hippo, and in their haste, they ended up with the worst hippo in America. Henry was originally named Brutus, and he'd already been in 4 different zoos before Fun Jungle got him. Each place couldn't wait to get rid of him. First of all, he was dangerous. In Boston, he'd bitten 3 keepers badly enough to send each to the hospital. In Seattle, he squashed a keeper up against the side of his enclosure so hard that he cracked 4 of the man's ribs, then kept him pinioned there for half an hour until being coaxed away by a box of Twinkies. Next, there was a mating problem. In order to increase their animal populations, zoos usually tried to pair all male animals with females. This had been attempted with Brutus every place he lived. His interactions with females had been limited to 2 emotions: complete disinterest and occasional bursts of inexplicable anger. The females would find him cold and aloof. In Los Angeles, where they tended to psychoanalyze things a bit too much, one keeper accused Brutus of giving the female he was paired with a devastating case of low self-esteem. Then, one day, for no particular reason, Brutus would turn against his partner. A full force attack, biting, kicking, butting them with his head. On several occasions, Brutus had to be tranquilized before he mortally wounded his mate. Finally, there'd been the poop. In the wild, male hippopotamuses occasionally exhibit an extremely disgusting method of battling for dominance. They aim their butts at one another and fire streams of feces. This had rarely been documented in zoos, probably because male hippos are usually kept apart. And until Brutus arrived on the scene, it had never been witnessed in any situation other than dominance conflicts. Brutus seemed to think it was funny. He genuinely enjoyed shooting poop at people. There was no rhyme or reason to it, except that he was said to have an uncanny knack for knowing which zoo visitor was wearing the most expensive outfit. Without any warning, he'd hoist his rear out of the water and fire away. In the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., where the walls around the hippo pit were unfortunately low. In the course of 1 week, Brutus had sullied 2 senators, the Secretary of State, the Swedish ambassador, and the president's daughter, along with 4 of her Secret Service agents. After that, even the conservation-minded National Zoo Association had given serious consideration to putting Brutus to sleep. Fortunately, a small circus had offered to buy him. They'd put up with him for only 2 months. He'd bitten 3 clowns and had taken to firing feces at the audience every time he was brought into the center ring. The circus owners were ready to feed Brutus to the lions when they heard Fun Jungle was desperate for a hippopotamus. The owner quickly fudged Brutus's records, claimed he was an entirely different hippo, and didn't feed him for 3 days before the Fun Jungle purchasing department came to visit so that he couldn't soil them. The circus offered him for a song, and Fun Jungle snatched him up in a second. The hippo was renamed Henry and delivered to Fun Jungle with great fanfare. The marketing department turned Henry's journey across the country into a national media event. They made no secret that Henry had been bought, or rather rescued, from a circus. It was a much better story that way. A specially designed semi with its own built-in pool was constructed to transport Henry. In each town he passed through, families lined the streets to see him. His arrival at Fun Jungle had been celebrated with a huge party. Even though the zoo wasn't open yet, thousands of people had come to get their first glimpse of Henry and consume a giant hippo-shaped cake. The next morning, within the space of 45 minutes, Henry bit one keeper, then showered none other than Martin Delgato himself with poop. It was at this point that Doc, who knew Brutus's reputation, determined that Fun Jungle had been hoodwinked. Martin was livid. J.J. McCracken was even angrier. The entire animal purchasing department was fired on the spot, and the marketing department began damage control. Plexiglass, just-in-case shields, were quickly installed along the walls of Henry's enclosure to protect the public from hippo poop. Hildegard, the only other hippo Fun Jungle had managed to acquire, was removed from Henry's enclosure. All keepers were given orders to stay the heck away from Henry unless armed with electric cattle prods. And even then, they were only to approach him at night, since he was on display during the day. A feeding system was designed to keep his contact with humans to a minimum. The emergency measures seemed to work. Henry still fired feces at visitors on occasion, but the shields protected them, and the kids thought it was funny. Still, in the name of good hygiene, cleaning crews were on call during park hours to clean up the messes as quickly as possible. In the meantime, Martin had his minions desperately combing the world for a new male hippo that could be secretly swapped out with Henry. After all, to humans, all hippos basically look the same. People could usually tell the difference between a male and a female, which was why Fun Jungle's administration hadn't tried to pass Hildegard off as Henry. Although, believe me, they'd thought about it. But no one would really know if Henry had suddenly been replaced with another male. SeaWorld did it all the time with killer whales. Some of the parks were on their 10th Shamu already. If the new Henry had already been found, the death of the old Henry probably wouldn't have bothered many people at the park. No one there had liked Henry, not even his keepers. But his death now, so shortly after the park had opened, was most likely going to be a public relations disaster. By the time I returned to Hippo River, Damage control was well underway. Temporary fences had already been erected around Henry's paddock, and signs were posted every 10 feet announcing, "Sorry, this attraction is temporarily closed to improve your enjoyment." Ironically, the only signs Fun Jungle had with this message featured Henry Hippo. The phalanx of young employees had been deployed to allay any concerns guests might have. Any guest who asked about Henry was told he was off display due to medical reasons. Any guest who complained he was dead was immediately refunded their entry fee and given a coupon for 10% off Fun Jungle merchandise to boot. Meanwhile, a crane was being brought over from one of the construction sites to hoist Henry's body out of his pool the moment the last visitor left for the day. Martin was in the midst of everything, working 2 cell phones at once. He frowned when he saw me approaching alone. "Where's Doc?" he demanded. "Doing surgery on a warthog." "Now? Did you make it clear to him how urgent this situation is?" "Yes, but he said Henry's not going to get any deader." Martin glared at me a moment, then rubbed his temples. "Did Doc, by any chance, indicate when he might feel like joining us?" "It shouldn't be too long. He's just lancing a boil." I hesitated a moment, then added, "He wants you to find him a place to do an autopsy." As I feared, telling Martin this was like poking a cobra with a stick. His entire head turned red. "An autopsy?" he snapped. Everyone within earshot, including a lot of tourists, stopped in their tracks and turned toward us. Martin mustered the best smile he could for them, then grabbed my arm and dragged me behind a stand of banana trees. "It's bad enough that our mascot is dead. Now that quack wants to cut him up? Where does he expect to do that?" "The animal hospital?" "Henry won't fit in the hospital. They don't make autopsy tables big enough for hippopotamuses." Martin nervously ran his fingers through what was left of his hair, not so much talking to me as talking with me nearby. "I mean, it's not like this is a human being. You could autopsy a human anywhere. This is a hippo, for Pete's sake. It's the size of a truck, and God knows what'll come out of him once Doc cuts him open. We'll have to sanitize the whole park." Martin paused and thought a moment, like he was adding up how much sanitizing the park would cost him. Then he turned to me and said, "I'm not doing it. I'm just burying Henry. Go tell Doc that, and then tell him to forget about the stupid warthog and get over here." I knew there was no point in arguing, so I ran all the way back across the park to Doc again. Fun Jungle was over a mile from end to end, and it was nasty hot out. I was pouring sweat by the time I got back to Safariland. Doc didn't look much better. He lanced the boil, but it obviously hadn't been easy. He was covered with dirt and sweat, and there was a long bleeding scrape on his chin where the warthog had tusked him. My reappearance, along with the news that Martin did not want to do an autopsy, didn't help his mood at all. "Go tell that knucklehead an autopsy is standard operating procedure for any deceased zoo animal," he growled. "And tell him if we don't figure out why Henry died, it'll cost us money in the long run. That ought to get his attention." "How will it cost money?" "Suppose something toxic is leaking into Hippo River. The autopsy would tell us that, and then we could fix it. But if we don't do the autopsy, then we don't find out about the toxic leak. And next thing you know, we're up to our necks in dead hippos. Ask Martin if he's comfortable with that. I ran back to Hippo River. Now Fun Jungle had closed for the night. The last guests had left. Usually the stores by the entrance stayed open an extra hour to give the guests a chance to spend every last penny they had on Fun Jungle merchandise. But Martin had ordered everything shut down early that night. The crane had arrived, and the strongest employees at the park had wrapped a huge metal sling around Henry. Now the hippo's massive, dripping corpse was being winched out and loaded onto a flatbed trailer. The local news stations had gotten wind that something was up. News vans were parked right outside the front gates, and park security was shooing camera crews away from trying to film the crane over the wall. I could see Large Marge go up on a ladder, swatting the cameramen with a rolled up newspaper. I found Martin and told him Doc's argument. He grimaced at the thought of more dead hippos, then reluctantly conceded Doc was right. Great, he muttered. One more thing I have to deal with. I thought of some places big enough to autopsy Henry, I told him. I'd had plenty of time to mull it over while running back and forth across the park. The employees' cafeteria is huge, plus the floor's linoleum, so it wouldn't be too hard to clean. Martin shook his head violently. No way. If the state health inspectors found out we've had a dead hippo anywhere near the food, they'd shut us down. Does it have to be indoors? We might be able to haul out some big lights and do it right in the entry plaza. Not a chance. It's only a matter of time before the news copters get here. I'm not letting them film it. Plus, we'll end up with every vulture in the state here by the time we're through. He pointed to the sky. There were already a staggering number of vultures wheeling overhead, lured by the smell of Henry's corpse. In the landscaping nearby, hidden from TV cameras, members of the security team were trying to fend them off with BB guns, but it wasn't working. How about Henry and Pal's Theater then, I asked. That was a big auditorium near the entrance where a musical revue was performed 5 times a day, featuring actors dressed as Henry and other Fun Jungle characters. It's got a big stage with a lot of lights, and since they have to move scenery in and out, there's these big doors that you could probably get Henry through. Martin started to shake his head again. Saying no to me was an automatic reflex for him when it struck him that I had a good idea. He quickly dialed one of his phones and ordered whoever answered to start prepping the Henry and Pal's Theater for an autopsy. Then he returned his attention to moving Henry's corpse. He didn't even bother to compliment me on a job well done or thank me for my help. Well, we will end it there, friends. Oh, this story is a trip. Okay, it is a trip already. And we are only 37 pages in. Okay, we've read this much. We got this more to go. So at this point, who do you think caused Henry to be belly up? I personally think it's Martin right now. I think it's Martin. It may not be him. It may be a surprise at the end, but I think it's Martin. Okay. because he doesn't like kids or animals. The doctor, he likes animals, but he doesn't like humans. It could be Martin. He is suspect number one. Okay. Y'all, this book right here, it is a kid's book and it is good. Okay. So, guess what? I had to keep looking at the timer because I was really into this story. And if I didn't notice that Miss Hope's reading hour is over, I would have kept reading. Okay. So this is why reading is so awesome, my young ones, my older young ones. This is why you've got to get into reading, because books teach you lessons. Books draw you into the words and the environment of the book. You get lost in it. It's a great experience. You get to use your mind, figure things out. Reading's awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Reading's awesome. It is. Reading is awesome. So, we are at the end of Miss Hope's reading hour. I am so happy I got to be here on this wonderful Wednesday with you and read these great books. Maybe a story about the endless potential in all of us. Parents, teachers, you got to get this book for your kids. Awesome book. Also, that book is by Kobi Yamada. And Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. We're all the same inside. We cry. We smile. We bleed. All the same, y'all. Another book, parents, teachers, parent-teacher friends. Your young ones would love this book. And for the older young ones, Belly Up by Stuart Gibb. As my nephew David would say, it's juicy, y'all. It's got juice, okay? So I am so glad that I got to be here with you all today. This was great. So fun, as I have with you all the time. So I will be putting up the notice about who our guest readers are for Friday. I'm excited. First time we have guests. Please be hospitable. Welcome them greatly, our guests. So until our first guest readers on our fabulous Friday, I will say see you next time, because Miss Hope's reading hour is over now. Okay. So until next time, have a great Thursday. It's supposed to be a really nice day again, nice and sunny. Have a good Thursday. Enjoy the rest of this wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you right back here at 3:00 on a fabulous Friday with our guest readers, our first guest readers. Okay? Right back here, 3:00, Miss Hope's reading hour. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye. See you next time.